straight up. Should we get started, or does everybody want to wait just a few more minutes?
Why don't you wait till I get my cup of coffee? I'll be right back.
Hi, Dean.
Hi.
Everybody.
Okay, well, while Dean's getting his coffee, there he is. Okay. Well, welcome everybody to the quarterly Whidbey Island Association of Realtors meeting. And yeah, welcome everybody. It's good to see all these faces. I really do wish it was in person. It's sad, but hopefully soon. So we have a lot of great information that's going to be presented to us today, and a lot of great speakers. I want to thank everybody in advance for showing up. It's very important that we see so many faces when, during this time that we haven't been able to see very many faces. So we're going to get started with the pledge, and Kim's going to be leading that this morning for us. So if we could get started on that, and if everybody could just make sure that you're on mute. Otherwise it could be a little chaotic. So, all right, Kim, take it away.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Realtor Pledge. I am a Realtor. I pledge myself to strive to be honorable and to abide by the golden rule. I strive to serve well my community and through it my country, to abide by the Realtor's code of ethics and to strive to conform my conduct to its aspirational ideals, to act honestly in all real estate dealings, to protect the individual right of real estate ownership and to widen the opportunity to enjoy it, to seek better to represent my clients by building my knowledge and competence.
Great, thank you. Okay, so now we have Chicago Title. Kathy and Nikki, you want to go ahead and get started?
Good morning. First of all, thank you very much for inviting Chicago Title to sponsor this meeting. I've known most of you for like 30 years, and I just want to say I'm still thrilled to be a part of this, and this community is the greatest it's ever been. I do also want to tell you that we have the most fabulous sales executive. Anything you need, anything at all, this woman is there for you. She gets me stuff I can't get. So you need to listen to her. She's going to show you about the title reports. I was like, we all know about title reports, whatever. And she goes, no, look. And I went, oh, I didn't know that. Oh, no way. I didn't know that. So with no further ado, here's Carly.
Thank you very much, Kathy. Thank you guys so much for having me this morning and for taking the time out of your day to be here with me. As Kathy said, I am your sales executive for Chicago Title, Island County. I am absolutely happy to be here to help you with the growth of your business, help you feel more comfortable with all of the tools that Chicago Title has to offer you. Really, you can come to me with any question, title and escrow. If I don't know the answer, like Kathy said, I know somebody who does, so I can definitely help you. Today, we have some exciting news. Our beloved Adeline Brown, after putting in 40 plus years as our county manager, she is now retiring and moving to Maui. And with that, we are bringing on our new county manager, Cesar Espinoza. I'd like to take a quick moment to let him pop on and say hello really quickly before I dive into answering some questions and actually walking you through how to share a title report with active links. That was actually brought to my attention by some of you fine folks. So we'll get to that. But first of all, I'd like to introduce Cesar Espinoza, Chicago Title's new county manager.
Thanks, Carly. Good morning, everyone. So happy to be here now. 2 seconds about myself. I've been in the business, title and escrow business for about 32 years. I'm a title guy. I'm a title officer, brain, title. I love sales and escrow, but I've come up with the title experience in my background. So if there's anything I can do to help you, I love to roll up my sleeves, get into files. I love to put on my fireman hat and put out fires and get deals over the finish line. That's what I like to do is there's some tough deals that we've all had and experience where there's probates or bankruptcies or liens or any kinds of easement issues. So any of that kind of stuff I can help with. I'm happy to roll up my sleeves and get involved and get these deals done and over the finish line. And Carly and Nikki and Kathy have been great, and it's a beautiful island. Where I'm from Las Vegas, so I'm getting used to the clouds, but it's so beautiful up here, and my wife and I are so happy to be up here, and we just keep exploring and loving it up here. So hopefully I get to see all of you in person soon, and I'll be out on the island actually today. So nice meeting everyone, and again, if you need anything, please reach out to our team and I can help you with anything you need.
Thank you so much, Caesar. And so everybody, I want to tell you a little bit about our Chicago Title Live Look title reports. I have heard about, I've had some inquiries about how to share title reports with active links. So what I'm going to do today is show you exactly how to do that quickly and easily. Also, I'll take this time to let you know if you need, further assistance with like really doing a deep dive into how to read a title report, how to use our live look title report system. I'm going to drop my information in the chat box. Please reach out to me. I'd love to set up a one-on-one with you, and we can go over that individually as well. Okay. So, and then after this, we're going to do some fun prizes. We have 4 $25 gift cards that we're going to be raffling off today. Everybody gets an entry. For some really great local businesses. So after we do this title stuff, we'll reward you all with some treats, okay? I'm gonna take the time to share the screen here. All righty. So many of you may be familiar with this. Can you see this screen? Everybody? Okay, great. So when we send our commitment for title insurance, this is the first page that you'll receive. As you scroll down, this is your entire title report. A lot of people just scan right over this first page, but I want to point out that this blue link right here, it's an active link. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And is everyone able to see this next page? Yeah. Okay, great. Let's see. So this brings us to the summary page here. Let me move here. If you're not familiar, no, you don't see that? Okay.
Hey, I was gonna say, Carly, I'm not seeing that.
Okay, thank you. Let's do a new share here. Thank you for letting me know. Boom, there it is.
Yeah.
You see it now? Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, guys. So this, once you click on that link, this is going to bring you to our live look title report. Many of you are probably quite familiar with this already. If you're not, I would love the opportunity to walk you through it. So again, with my contact down below, we can set up a one-on-one and I can walk you through. Really brief overview. This is just kind of a title report made simple. So it's more like a summary. It's a little easier to read than a 18-page title report. But in regard to sharing the report with active links, I'm going to direct your attention to the top right-hand corner. You'll notice this share and follow buttons. Okay. Go ahead and click on share. It's going to prompt you to enter your email and the email address of whomever you'd like to share it with. You can add a note if you'd like, and then just easily click send. That is going to send an active live look title report to whomever it is you're trying to share it with. And I will take this time to note that the live look report does have access to the full title report as well. If you prefer to review the entire title report that way, on the left-hand side of the screen, you'll notice that report button. Click right here. It's going to take you right to the full title report. Okay. So let's see. At this time, if anyone has questions that they'd like to address, I think I have a couple minutes. If anyone has burning questions that I can answer now, I'd love to. And if I answered those questions, if there aren't any additional questions, like I said, reach out. Oh, Rachel, you've got a question.
Hey,
Hey there.
so with some of the links, we're finding that they're not working on the weekends or after, like, evenings. I don't know why that's happening, but even when you just downloaded the live look, it's just the 18 pages, so it doesn't have the auditor files from what I just saw. You have to actually click into those links. Some of the links don't translate into an actual auditor file if there's not a document uploaded from the county. So I'm wondering if you have any guidance on how we kind of handle that. It's pretty challenging when we're competing on a weekend or having to, show property on a weekend and say the property went up Friday or, Thursday or Friday. And we just, send over the title to our clients and they can't access the links, but then they can Monday morning. It's super confusing. So I don't know if you guys have researched down that path at all, but.
Sure. Okay. So, well, thank you so much for bringing that to my attention. I have heard on one account issues with having it open on the weekend, and that was from a client of ours. After digging in deeper, I do believe if the title reports are shared with in this particular way, then you should, within live look, then you should be able to access them on the weekends. I keep my cell phone on me on the weekends. If you run into that, please don't hesitate to give me a call or a text because I can look into it deeper.
And that's what I was going to say. You guys all have my cell phone number and you all know I have no life. My parents have moved in with me. So if I need to leave my house on the weekends and come to you, I'm good with that. But honestly, I've been practicing the share the way that Carly told me, and it seems to be working. If it's shared right, all the links seem to be there. But call me, I swear, Rachel, I'll figure it out. I'll fix it on the weekend, whenever.
And Rachel, one thing that I have had a couple clients run into is having your cookies disabled. Sometimes your settings are like set up to have cookies disabled. If you can enable cookies, then you should be able to access those. I've had a couple people be able to access links who weren't. So that's always a nice troubleshooting option, is to make sure that your cookies are disabled, refresh, try again. And the next step would be to contact us, but I'll absolutely look into that. I haven't heard anything about like after 5 or anything like that. It's definitely not something that we want to be happening. So I'll definitely be taking a look into that.
That was kind of a new thing that came up in trying to suss out what's going on. Another challenge is that some of the auditor files aren't, if you click on the link, it takes you into the auditor portal, which doesn't actually have a picture associated with it. And it could just be that maybe something's not uploaded from the county. Because if you back into it and go into it from the auditor portal, it's kind of the same thing. So that's where it's becoming also a challenge, and wondering if maybe, not that we necessarily want to go back to what we were doing before, but maybe there's another hybrid mode that we can do PDFs as well with the live links in the event that, there really isn't something on the other end of that link. So.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah, definitely. I'm really grateful that you brought this up. I would love to chat with you after the call. Just maybe I can see, maybe I can have you send that to me, so we can look into that a little bit more, and I can make sure that I'm getting you accurate information.
We can always send you PDFs. Always, always, always. The PDFs are in our file. It's just everybody wants everything automated now. And it's weird that it takes you to the auditor's file portal, because we actually take the documents and put them in our system. So
sorry, let me clarify. It doesn't take, when I said that wrong, it doesn't take you to the auditor file. It just goes to, to nothing. Like this link's not working. So I backed in through the auditor portal to see, because you can look at the number on the title and see each individual document. And if you pull it up from the document on the auditor portal, it doesn't it doesn't show, which makes sense why the link takes you nowhere, because there's no document potentially. I don't know. But in your third, maybe we can talk more after. I'd love to dig in with you if it is going to a third party to see where that is.
So one thing that I'm going to really quickly add, Rachel, is just to let you know, same thing, you know us. If you need anything, just go ahead and email. And just to let you know, because it's the island and because everything is like down families and these properties have been owned like 50, 60, 70 years down the line. A lot of the times with auditor file numbers, if you go into the auditor's portal, the website and such like that, they're too old so that they actually don't have the recorded document figures. But that's why you go ahead and ask Kath or I or Carly. We can jump into that file and we'd be happy to send you that PDF. But yeah, I trust Carly's going to be able to look at that, into that, and get you a better answer. But just to let you know, I did know the answer to that one.
Yay, sweet. Okay, thanks. Sorry to hog so much time. It's
No, thank you for bringing that to my attention. I really appreciate it. Did anyone else have questions? And I will reach out to you, Rachel, after the call.
thanks.
Great, you're welcome.
So,
Excellent.
want to do a drawing?
Let's do a drawing. Yeah, awesome. Okay.
We stole Christie's spinning wheel because we thought it was the coolest thing ever. I'm sure Christie at Dwell Mortgage invented this, but we did steal it because it's awesome.
It's pretty sweet, you guys. So let's pull this up. Everybody who is here has an entry into this very cool Wheel of Fortune. So like I mentioned earlier, we have four $25 gift cards, one to Southern Cross Espresso, one to Fair Market Restaurant, which we all love, Langley Restaurant as well.
Langley Kitchen.
Or Langley Kitchen, excuse me, and Sea Biscuit Bakery, guys. So these are some good prizes. Let's see who's gonna win the first one.
Gail. Oh, Elizabeth. Oh, Gail, she stole it from you. Elizabeth.
Elizabeth Steele.
So, Southern Cross for Elizabeth Steele.
I didn't even see my name on there. That is so awesome. Thanks, guys.
Carly,
Yes.
can I just say something? I see
Yes.
that we're up to 58 participants. So apparently there's some people here that I didn't send you their names. So if you have time to look in the participant list and see if there's folks there that aren't on the wheel before our next drawing.
Sure thing. You got it. I'll on that and I'll let you guys continue along.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Elizabeth. You're welcome.
Okay, sorry about that. I had to unmute. All right, so now we have the pleasure of Mary Engel, and she is going to talk to us today about the permitting process. Thank you very much, Mary, for being here today. I know your time is very precious, and we really do appreciate you coming. I had the pleasure of working with Mary in the assessor's office back when she was the assessor, and she always had this passion for efficiency and making things more fluid for taxpayers, the public, and the staff. And so congratulations, Mary, on the planning director position, and go ahead and take it away.
Great, thanks, Leanne. First of all, I just wanted to share with you that I believe that the more information and education that we can provide to applicants on the county's processes, the more efficient we can become with our process as well for you. I made it as a priority, as Leanne said, as the assessor, to provide presentations to our citizens and to continue to encourage this same thing here in the planning department as the planning director. So I first want to just thank you for allowing us and inviting us to present to you today. Today, my assistant director, Jonathan Lang, actually will be the one presenting to you, and he will be presenting on land use permitting. In our PowerPoint that is available to you after the meeting, you are welcome to either print it out or refer back to it whenever you need to when you're working with clients. You will have an overview of each type of land use permit and also a workflow for those permitting processes. These same workflows that we're going to share with you today are the same ones we train our staff in the planning division on. So you get to see right into the nitty-gritty of what we do and how we do it all day long. Before Jonathan begins, though, I wanted to point out one thing that I've learned since becoming the planning director. As you know, as the assessor, of course, I used to see sales and see all of the sales documents come across my desk. And our job over there was figuring out the market value at the time of that sale for 2 years down the road taxes. Over here, I've learned, given me a different perspective on our community and the building industry. So one of the things I just want you to think about as we go through this slide is the fact that we are running out of easy building sites in Island County. And in fact, all that are left are very complicated pieces of property, those that have encumbrances such as floodplain issues, shoreline issues, eroding bluffs, critical areas, streams, or wetlands, or they're forested and need to be cleared. As I said, you'll hear this a couple times during our presentation, but I just wanted to have you kind of keep this as a reminder to yourself, especially those of you who are in the process of listing properties and so on, that we live on an island with very complicated properties left of development available. And I think it will help you understand more clearly why land use permits are taking more and more time to review today than they did 20 years ago. With that, I'm going to hand the steering wheel over to Jonathan Lang, my assistant director, and have him share his PowerPoint with you.
Good morning, everyone. Can you see this right now?
We could, but now it went to you.
Perfect. Well, I have 3 screens here, so I was trying to figure out which screen it's on here. Let me share that again. Okay, I'll just go through, as Mary stated, the permitting process for our Island County's land use permits. I'll have a few plugins for our website. And the first thing I wanted to just mention, and you're probably all familiar with it, but if you're not, we do have what's called IC GeoMap. That's online. It's our interactive mapping system where you're able to search for parcels by parcel code numbers, by tax ID numbers, by addresses. And we have a lot of information here in this application. So just want to plug that. If you're looking for plats, if you're looking for if the area has critical areas, wetlands, steep slopes, if you're looking for zoning, if you're looking for the floodplain maps, it's all on this one map that you're able to see. So Island County Planning Department website has a couple quick links to this. This is the URL for the icgeomap.islandcountywa.gov. I just encourage everyone to take a look at this, start playing with it, looking at it if you haven't done this yet. I know that Mary had given a presentation previously about icgeomap, so we could do a whole presentation just on this, but this is great information. So it all comes together as you're looking at what properties you're looking at, and then what land use permits that would be required. So I wanted to point out our Island County Code. And of course, Mary had stated, we'll send you this presentation. You'll have this, you'll be able to refer back to it. Here on this slide is the Island County Code for the different application types and their processes. I think it gives a pretty good overview of what each process is, where it has to go, and who is going to be the decision maker on this, if there's going to be a hearing for it or not. And that's a lot of writing, so I'm not going to dwell on that right now, but because we're going to go through each of these types, but I wanted to point this out. This is the Island County Code section 1619 for our land use review. 040 will give you the application types. So just a plug for our Island County Code. We have a link to this on our website, on our planning website, and it's the municipal code. And chapters 16 is about planning and subdivision. Chapter 17 is about zoning. And that has all the zoning codes. It has the shoreline master program code and the new Freeland zoning code. So link here to municipal code. Muni code is the operator of it, but it has all the Island County code here. One thing also to just plug is pre-application conferences. We do charge a fee for them, but they are a great way of getting information about the process, about a specific parcel. I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with this process, but we do encourage that for complicated parcels that have critical areas, or that there are proposals for people are looking at it for an event center or different things like that. We do encourage pre-application conferences. As you can see, for type 1 and type 2 decisions, they're optional. If you go into the type 3 applications and type 4, they're going to be required, and we're going to ask people to come to pre-application conferences so they understand the process and they understand where they need to go next. So I'll be going through the different types of permits and giving some examples of those permits. I'll be giving some examples of how we process those here in the planning department. And these are mostly on the land use applications that we have. I'll talk a little bit about building permits. They have a little bit different process, but the land use permits are things that are going to be required most likely prior to then approval of a building permit. So the land use permit is the one that comes first. Type 1 applications, permitted uses, ministerial decisions is what we're going to touch first. So those are ones that are a decision by the planning director. The code is always referencing the planning director as the one making the decision, but their representatives, the planner or shoreline planner or critical areas planner who's making that decision, or the planner who's looking at EB's review guidelines. Or their representative. That's going to be the decision maker for these ministerial decisions. Some of these examples are building permits, shoreline exemptions and shoreline limited reviews, some type 1 site plan reviews, temporary use permits, special event permits, some critical areas permits that are without the SEPA checklist, and EB's review level A and final short plats. So type 1 is our lowest level ministerial decision. I will have these available for all you on each of these different types of applications and what the process we have. So if you or your applicant you or your client want to do a pre-application conference, those things will come before the application process starts, of course. But then we go into this application process. So right now, I just have an asterisk there for the planning department email address. We are allowing for land use applications to be sent via email, so we can review those application documents prior to submitting and paying for the application itself. We get those in, our planners are reviewing those and creating applications. We have a 14-day period to deem those complete. We then send out a notice of complete application letter to the agent or applicant. And then we are starting a review process for our departments. We send it out to different departments within our agency. So public health, public works, our building department, for their review of these land use applications and what would be required there. We, on the type 1 applications, are trying to do those between in 30 days or 30 to 60 days, as we'll see in a further slide of our goals of these different types of applications. Sometimes, and then I put a little stop clock over here on the side, or a little watch, because we have sometimes where an agency or a department will want additional information from that applicant, and we will then request that through a review letter. requesting that additional information. This on our side and our permitting tracking system and software, we would then put what we call a stop clock on that permit review. Our time frame, our timing would stop. We're waiting on additional information so we can make a decision, so we can further that application and its review. This is what will happen. This review process will happen on all the types of applications we will continue to talk about, the types 2, 3, and 4 applications. And then there will be some different decision-making bodies or different processes on a few of these things. So I wanted to just point that out. And as we talk about goals of how these timelines, we want these timelines made, that stop clock situation is one to consider when we consider, well, how long is a permit taking for review? Sometimes we've done our review and we're waiting for additional information to continue that review before our decision. Type 2 conditional use permits are an administrative decision. It's still a planning director decision, but it requires a public comment period. You'll have a public notice sign that will go up on the site and a time for the public to be noticed that there's a application nearby. It will be posted in the newspaper, and then the public notice sign will go out on the site. And the county issues that final decision after that public comment period has gone. Examples of type 2 applications are shoreline exemptions with SEPA review, shoreline conditional use permits, substantial development permits, and shoreline variances. We have some type 2 site plan reviews, preliminary short plats, critical areas permits with SEPA, zoning code interpretations, certificate of zoning compliances, and EB's level B and C. These are the types of type 2 applications that we have. Type 2 process, very similar, except for the part that we have a notice of application and the public comment period. If it requires a SEPA checklist, we send that, we notify State Department of Ecology that a SEPA checklist has come in and for their review and comments. And as you can see, we do this pretty much the same process.
Good morning, Mike Johnson here in Langley.
Do you have a question?
Very good. How are you?
Gina, can you mute Mike Johnson, please? Or Rachel, maybe whoever has access.
Thank you. So type 2 process, still decision by our planning director. One of the other things I wanted to point out is in each of these, there's an appeal period afterwards. There's a 14-day appeal period after the planning department makes a decision on an application. If it is appealed, it goes to a hearing examiner for their a hearing before them. Let's see here. Wanted to point out a little bit difference on our shoreline permits. We make a concurrent decision with the State Department of Ecology on the shoreline permits, such as shoreline conditional use permits or shoreline variances. So a little bit different in this type 2, where we'll make a decision, we'll have our appeal period run, and then we'll send that decision to the Department of Ecology for their review. They have a 30-day review period. They make a decision, and then they have a 21-day appeal period. So that on shoreline conditional use permits and shoreline variances, that can extend the time frame on the land use review for these types of applications. Type 3 applications, conditional use permits, are hearing examiner decision. So Island County has contracted with Sound Law Center out of Seattle for a hearing examiner. That becomes a third-party review where the planning staff would present their findings at a public hearing before the hearing examiner. And the applicant would be there as well, of course, to talk to that application. Community meeting is usually required for these types of application. So that's actually a meeting that the applicant will put on themselves prior to even submitting the pre-application conference material. Per our code, they're required to have a community meeting where they invite people within 300 feet of their parcel or where that project's going to be. And they take minutes and they take attendance, and then they supply that to us as part of their application. A pre-application conference is required for type 3 applications so that the applicant knows the process, so the applicant knows possible information that they would need for application to make a successful application. It'd be a 14-day public comment period, a public notice sign, and then staff makes a decision or a recommendation to the hearing examiner on the application. There's a public hearing with the hearing examiner. There are some type 3 applications that don't go to the hearing examiner, but go to the Board of County Commissioners for their approval. And those are comprehensive plan amendments or rezonings. Some examples of type 3 applications that go to the hearing examiner are preliminary long plats and site plan reviews, such as event centers or commercial development. Type 3, pretty similar, except for when then it goes to public hearing before the hearing examiner. And I'll get into a little bit about the goals and the maximum time we have to review these per our code here in a moment. Type 4 applications going to the Board of County Commissioners for legislative approval. And these are rezones, amendments to code, or designations of habitat of local importance, changes of code. These types of applications need to come in by August 31st of each year to be then considered for the work plan or docket for the following year. So it's a long process on this. We do require pre-application conferences, and then it has to go before the Planning Commission at work sessions and public hearings, and before the Board of County Commissioners at work sessions. And following a Planning Commission recommendation, it then goes to a Board of County Commissioner public hearing for their final approval. So we did want to talk about our approval time periods. I know it's always something that your clients or people are asking, how long is this going to take? We are, as Mary said, trying to improve that and get that better. So per Island County Code, our approval time periods require us to make a decision within 120 days. That gives us, that's per one of the state statutes. In there is that depending on if we have all the accurate information, that we have all the information we need to make a decision. So it does come with that stop clock provision that if we're waiting, if we request additional information, that time will be stopped. And then once we get that information back, we then can process that further. The code does say 90 days for preliminary subdivision decisions and 30 days for final subdivision plat decisions. Since I've been in the department and we've tried to follow along with the goals here that I've outlined for type 1 decisions between 30 and 60 days, type 2 decisions 60 to 90, and type 3 decisions 90 to 120 days. That is our goal. There are caveats to the goals and that we just wanted to mention. review time will depend on how our staffing is. Currently, we are hiring and training new staff. That makes those timeframes go a little longer. There is that stop clock when we request additional information from the applicant. And then we also depend on other departments in the county and other agencies to get us their comments. And they are also experiencing that staffing and time frame issues. As we're filling our positions here in the planning department, we are training and making sure that we're trying to meet these goals here. And I think with that, again, we'll provide this this presentation to you all. And if you have any questions, I also wanted to just point out again, our Island County website, islandcountywa.gov/planning. You can find the Island County code and you can find the ICGeo map information there. That is all for my presentation.
So
Thank
Jonathan,
you.
Jonathan, if you would send me all of that, email that to me at wouldberealtors@gmail.com. I will pass it on to all our members.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So I have a quick question as far as the pre-application meeting that is required or highly recommended for every property, really. How long does it typically take to get that appointment?
So you would request, what you do, it's funny when I say this because it's like we have an application for a pre-application conference. So it's hard to say that, but we do have an application that you turn in. And once it's deemed complete, the fees are paid. The planner should be able to check our schedule. We do those applications, those conferences on the first 3 Thursdays of each month. And we block out timeframes, and usually each of those are about an hour. So depending on what schedule we have for that month or for the next month is when those planners will then schedule that conference with you all. And it's usually that we try to have it where we have enough time for each department. So a couple of weeks for those departments to look at those applications, come to the conference prepared to give information to the applicant or your client about how their project is. So we try to get those scheduled within a couple of weeks of the time that the application is complete and turned in.
Leanne, if I could just point out something real quick that I think is important. Some of you may know this, but not all of you may. I did not realize it until I came over here as the director. The pre-application meetings have kind of gone back and forth. At one point, they weren't giving them in this department, and then again, we implemented them. One of the reasons I implemented them was because what I found was it's the only opportunity a client of yours has to sit down at the table with all of the departments and hear all of the things that may encumber that property. And so I always feel like someone who's getting ready to purchase a property, it would be great if they knew that there was critical areas or something, they might want to pay for one of these just so they could sit down and hear from Public Works, the Health Department, and Planning, any of the things that may create problems for them where they want to build their house. So just a point I wanted to point out.
Yeah, thank you. Unfortunately, right now, if something goes on the market and 5 days later, so it's a little hard to get that, diving in like that, unfortunately, but yeah, it's important. I agree. Okay, so, well, thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate your time, and Mary, I appreciate your time. And so I guess that wraps that up, unless anybody else has another quick question. We're right on the nose on timing, so that's good. And we're ready to do another drawing.
All right, awesome. So for this very next drawing, what do we have, Kathy?
Fair Market Restaurant. That's one of my favorite places to eat now. It's also right across the street.
We love it. All right, let's see who the lucky winner is.
Jason Joyner.
Cheryl. Awesome.
Way to go,
Yay.
Cheryl.
All right, Cheryl, you are taking home $25 to Fair Market Restaurant. Lucky you.
Yay! Goody gumdrops. You want to go?
Yes. Awesome. Great, you guys. This is so fun. Perfect. And back to Leanne.
All right, congratulations, yay. Okay, so next we have Jim with Hearts and Hammers. And boy, he's been a volunteer since 1995. And in the second year, following that, he was invited to join the board and has now been on the board for 25 years. Jim has participated in every workday since 1995. At one time or another, held most every leadership role on the board. With our group today, Jim is going to share a little bit about his history and the mission of Hearts and Hammers in our community, but then in particular shed light on what the opportunities are now to become participating members of the Hearts and Hammers community. So Jim.
Yes.
Take it away.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. It's a little distant.
Okay, let me bring it a little closer.
Okay, thank you.
So I expected a lot of the members of your organization are already familiar with Hearts and Hammers if they've been in the community for very long, since this is our 28th year.
So Jim,
yes,
I'm having a hard time hearing you. Is there any way we can get that a little closer or turned up?
Sure.
Thank you.
Is that any better? Is that any better, or is that about the same?
It's about the same.
Should I just hold it like a phone? Is that better?
That is a little better.
Anyways, Hearts and Hammers 1994, it started as a pilot project at the Langley Methodist Church. They put up the initial, there were members of the church who came up with the idea. The Methodist Church put up some of the seed money to get going. And it's not it's not distinctly a program of the Methodist Church. It never was, but that's how it all kind of got started there. And there was a mission there was a twofold mission when they got started. One was to help people stay in their homes and live with safety and dignity in their homes. The other was to build community. And those two elements of the mission throughout the years, each has held equal importance. The work of Hearts and Hammers and the work of the board, we work all year long to seek out, to raise funds, to seek out where the need is, to recruit volunteers, to plan the projects, and we actually do the work on one day of the year. It's always the first Saturday of May. In recent years, we typically, on our typical work day, we'll work on something like 35 homes, and we typically have 300 to 400 volunteers that work on that day. And there's little is left to chance. We work, the board is about 15 people, and it's a hands-on board. And we work from September. We start doing intake on homes. We complete all of our intakes by about mid-February, and then turn all of our attention to implementing the work, to recruiting the team leaders and assigning jobs, and recruiting and assigning volunteers, and arranging for materials, and the whole thing. This Hearts and Hammers is unique to South Whidbey Island. We're not part of a national organization. Until recent years, we were the only one. We're the only one in the region, any organization like that. We're completely unique to South Whidbey Island. We serve what is the school boundaries for South Whidbey Island. We go from Clinton to Greenbank. All of our jobs, that's the territory for all of our jobs. Most of our volunteers come from that particular area. All of our funding comes from South Whidbey community members. We don't get any grants from anyone. We've never sought them out. And in fact, we've declined a few of them. some notions would come up, someone like Home Depot, shall we approach them? And they would be willing to help us, but they want to put banners up on the jobs that say this is a project. And the nature of our organization is that for everyone in the community knows who has helped us out. Everyone knows that Hanson's every year, and Seabows, and Frontier Building Materials, and ACE, we all know where these things come from. So we never did see it appropriate to look for outside help and then advertise what that outside help was. It is entirely a South Whidbey organization, and it's entirely volunteer organization. There's no one that receives any compensation for it. The nature of the work is 30% of our volunteers are people who work in the trades. Another 30% are people who are handy, who kind of know how to do things. And the remaining 20-30% are people who are just can do anything and are just willing to help, to cut grass or wash windows or wash dishes or be an attendant to the homeowner. You can begin to volunteer at age 12. From 12 to 16, you have to be accompanied by a parent or guardian. From 16, I guess, to 18, you need a permission from a written permission from a parent or guardian. After that, our volunteers, we always have volunteers at 12 years old, and we always have volunteers in their 80s. And many people have done it for years and years, and many people who we've given help to over the years and their family members have also then returned to Hearts and Hammers every year to help on other projects. Our slogan was neighbors helping neighbors. And that's the way that it works. It isn't a charity. It's people in our community helping other people in our community. The sign up, the criteria for giving people help, our application process for homeowners seeking help is verbal. There's nothing to fill out. There's no asking extensive questions about income or assets or anything. It's neighbors helping neighbors. We can see where there's a need, that you don't need to prove it to us. Those of us in the community, we all know each other. So we can see what the need is, and the criteria is not strictly financial. The criteria often is just that someone needs a hand. Naturally, a lot of the people that we help are elderly and they can't keep up with these projects anymore. A fair amount of folks that we give a hand to are families, maybe that some kind of a misfortune came to them, that just keeping up with important things on the home is just not what they're just not able to tend to that at the moment. Let me see. Our principal criteria, 3 principal criteria when we look at jobs, is health and safety and dignity. So that we know that our neighbors can live safely and comfortably and with dignity. An awful lot of this information that I'm sharing with you is on the website that includes all sorts of information and background and history information and current information about projects. People who want to volunteer for Hearts and Hammers, the commitment for a volunteer is 1 day. 1 day a year. We have the projects all planned. They've been assigned to leaders. The leaders will contact the volunteers. When we recruit our volunteers, we ask what their preferences are, what they can do, what they're comfortable doing, what they would like to do. And we distribute the volunteers to teams according to that criteria. And in advance of the workday, if you act as a volunteer in advance of the workday, you will learn what job you're assigned to, who the captain is, where it is, what the nature of the work is going to be. And then we design our projects so that they can be completed in a day. So the commitment that we ask of our volunteers is one day. And I'll tell you about that. The current need, of course, we've had to postpone our workday the last 2 years because of COVID. We always tend to emergency things year round. If there's an emergency plumbing leak, electrical problem, failing a broken step, a need of a railing or a ramp, we tend to those things year round. We put together small teams to take care of those things. But our big work day, we have had to postpone the last 2 years, and we are eagerly looking forward to doing it this year. We're well into the process now of qualifying homes and recruiting volunteers. And our workday will be the first Saturday of May. I don't have a calendar in front of me right now. The first Saturday of May this year. People can sign up to volunteer on our website, heartsandhammers.com, and we'll certainly get back to anyone who signs in. So far, we're somewhere in the range of 200 volunteers signed up for this year so far. And it looks like we're going to be doing something in the range of 25 to 30 projects on this workday. There is no charge to families for any of the materials on our jobs. We provide everything. We typically will raise $35,000 a year, and we'll spend most of it on our workday and related activities every year. Now, the current needs. There's a financial need. There has always been a difficulty for us with roofs for houses. Roofs are very costly. They're so essential to a home. When a roof is deteriorated, it's not. It wouldn't be out of the ordinary for $25,000 for a roof, $30,000 for a roof. What we've done over the years, we don't have volunteers do things like that. What we've done over the years is put money in our piggy bank, and when we have enough, then we provide where the most need is. We can help provide a roof for a home. We put a little more economic scrutiny people about that because it is such a big ticket item. In the past few years, we've been able to put new roofs on, I would guess, half a dozen homes. And some
Wow,
of that,
that's great.
yeah.
Jim, I'm so sorry, but we're running out of time. All that information has been extremely helpful, and I really encourage everybody to sign up. And even if it's, I mean, it sounds like you could just do something as simple as pulling weeds for a little while, right, Jim?
Place for everybody. Place for everybody.
All right, great. Well, thank you for taking the time today. We really appreciate it.
Leanne?
Yeah?
Really quick, I put in the chat the link that realtors can sign up through. And if you'll just go ahead under the area that says, who do you want to work with? Just put would be realtors. And then you can join our team with WIAR. And the date's May 7th.
Awesome. Thank you, Rachel.
A lot of your members have helped us for many years. Thank you.
Great. Okay, well, it looks like we have another drawing then to attend to. So take it away.
We most certainly do. Let's see who the lucky winner is this time. Kathy, what do we have for them today?
Today we have a gift card for Langley Kitchen in downtown Langley on 2nd.
We all love Langley Kitchen.
Okay. Oh, Sandy's in Cabo, so I'm sorry. She's disqualified. She's having too much fun.
Oh my gosh, the fun does not stop for Sandy. Perfect. Yeah. All righty. Wonderful.
And whenever you're ready, we have one left. You want us just do it now and get it out of the way?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go. Last one's to Seabiscuit Bakery, and the only caveat is you have to take me.
All right, who's it gonna be?
Oh, wait. Oh, there you go. Very
Nice. Congratulations, everyone. Thank you so much.
All right. So I guess that wraps it up. It was so good seeing all these faces today, and I appreciate everybody coming. Does anybody have any last conclusion questions or anything that they have? Or No? Well,
Hey,
thanks
Leanne.
again to all of our, our sponsors and the time that was taken to explain these important processes that we deal with every day. Really appreciate it. Yeah, and I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of their day.
Hey,
Thank
Leanne.
you all so much.
Yes,
Thank you so much
Rachel?
for joining us.
I think Malene had a quick question.
Oh, Malene, I don't see you. Where are you?
All right, I'm
Oh, there
at the
you
top
are.
of my screen. Hi. Hey, all I was gonna say is if you haven't been involved in volunteering for Hearts and Hammers and you don't want to do work outside, I didn't hear him address the lunch or the time frame in which they thank the volunteers and feed them. But one of the jobs I did one year was just cleaning tables and throwing away garbage. And, just taking care of the volunteers was a really cool position as well.
Yeah.
So that's for somebody who's like, I'm not putting on mud boots and heading out. So there you go. That's it.
Well, that's good to know.
And we'll have more information in April, and we'll be sending out kind of not necessarily job duties, but just more information once we find out, since we're going to be leading the teams. So more to come.
Perfect.
Just wanted to say thank you again for everyone being here today. And please don't hesitate to reach out to me with any questions, or if I can set up a one-on-one with you, I would love that. I am super happy to answer questions individually. So my contact is in the chat, and I look forward to connecting with you all.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Thank you.